Elizabeth Kitley finally gets her ACC championship trophy, hoisting it high. We also have the men's games to recap from the weekend. Who is on the fringe? Who is playing as emergent as can be to try and get in the NCAA tournament? Tar Heels, it's time to come to the front. Let's talk about it on today's show.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. Thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We're talking about championship times as we have some regular season champions as well as some tournament champions to talk about on today's show. Listen, the sense of urgency for some of our favorite teams is dire as they head into their week of tournament action. We're going to talk about all the things. So weekend recaps, let's begin, shall we? Kenton, how are you feeling on today's episode?
You know, I'm feeling great as always. This is a really, really good time to be seeing ACC basketball. Tournament time is here. The games finally mean a lot. It's exciting to see.
1,000%.
And we
Regular
got
season.
the coaches on the delusion train, which, you know, is always great around this time of the year.
You like that? You like a little delusion to go give for sport? Just guys that really trying to buy into what it could be?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like Kirby Smart getting his guys to believe that many folks believe that they were a 7-win team. It's like, oh my God. Wow. You know, like Nolan Smith ran a 4.39 and people are still looking at his draft stock like, no, you said that y'all was going to be a 7-win team, Nolan. I'm not sure that you're the type of guy we want on our squad. Up here, there's something not clicking.
1,000%, 1,000%. Can't wait to get in some off-season talking about NFL and who our potential ACC stars are going to be at the next level. But basketball season, co-champions, regular season title goes to the Miami Hurricanes and the Virginia Cavaliers. So shout out to them. If we had an announcement horn, we would blare that. But 15-5 as a
the U's and the Who's.
You've been working on that, I could tell.
We
only 5 losses for a conference conference record. I think the Hurricanes have proven themselves to be worthy of this title, especially with how their season has gone fairly consistent. Virginia had a little ups and downs towards the end of their road, but were able to capitalize, and ultimately Tony Bennett and the boys figured it out. Just like we planned it, though, right? Virginia and Miami.
I mean, both of these teams had some bumps along the way, some very ugly bumps along the way, right? Even with Miami, you say that they figured it out, but they also gave up, what was it, the largest comeback?
I wasn't gonna highlight that one, but yeah, sure.
I mean, they both had their struggles, but that was indicative of the conference overall this year, right? The top team, anybody can get it. That was the theme of the conference this year. Anybody can get it. And that was shown multiple times this season, but these two were the two who got it the least. Those were the two who got it the least, came out on top. And Bennett and company, you expect them to be there. You knew that there was a shot with Isaiah Wong and Miller and O'Meara. You knew there was a shot. They had a shot, and they got it done enough to get a share of that championship.
Yeah, 100%. And let's give it another accolade to the fact that every single team in the conference at least got one win. So, we're happy for that. It's going to be a long road to 2024, 2023, 2024 season, but we have small progress, small goals.
No horns for that. No horns. I'm not giving you a horn. I'm sorry.
You said it. You said anybody could get it. So
can't do it.
On any given night, even Louisville found itself a dub.
I'll tell you this much: Louisville deserves a horn for their win against Clemson. Go Cards! Go Cards! Young Center going up. Sure, we can give Louisville their love for that, but I'm not giving y'all love for winning a conference game. That's just not. No horns for you.
Free L. Ellis. All right, well, let's talk about Louisville since we're here on Virginia's night. Was not able to find a victory. 75-60, the Hoos were able to pull it out. They look like the Virginia of old, finally figuring out that offense, and it was just nice, fresh change of pace for them as they head into a tournament that's going to be extremely competitive.
they needed to kind of turn this around. They needed a win that was like convincing. And, granted, beating Louisville by 15, big deal. Who hasn't beat Louisville by 15 this year? But that's the point. Doing what you're supposed to do in today's ACC is like, you did a good thing there. So, shout out to the Hoos.
Absolutely. Georgia Tech spoiling Boston College senior night, 73-65 victory. It was a tough showing for the Eagles, who have had at moments really good opportunities, and still, when I look at tournament play, could be a factor for making some upsets.
I don't believe you. You need more people.
What? They've done it.
College, but yeah, they've done it in the regular season. Sure.
You don't think their tournament energy?
There's a different type of urgency. There's a different type of thing. Remember when I warned you about Florida State and Latson and company? I warned you about them. I said, when tournament time comes, the lights could be too bright for those youngins. This Boston College team, as mature as they are and all that good stuff, they catch teams off guard because teams aren't paying attention. During tournament time, you've got their full attention. Whoever you're playing, you've got their full attention. There is nobody in the ACC who has nothing to play for in the tournament. If you look at our teams at the top, Miami and Virginia both need to win some games to get into a better seeding situation. If you go below those two, Clemson is fighting for their lives to get in. They cannot play around. Pitt, I think that they're comfortably in. But what if you lose a first rounder to a Boston College? That comfortable just got real uncomfortable. That seat just got real. So I don't think that and below them, I mean, every team is fighting for their life below that. NC State thought they were safe, and then boom, 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 a couple losses back to back. They aren't anymore.
We're definitely going to go over every single one. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just saying that there's below NC State, there's not a single team that should be sitting up here. The hay's in the barn, boys. Duke can't do it. UNC can't do it. Nobody can say, "Oh, we're good here." Nobody.
Yeah, 1,000%. Well, Florida State, Virginia Tech, two teams that, as you mentioned, are playing for desperado energy. Virginia Tech, who has a lot of veterans, and they've been here before. They were last season's ACC champions. I feel like, as much as I'm trying to give up on them, there's still hope. There's still a vibe. You never know. Crazier things have happened in said tournament. I think they were going to win last year, but here we are.
I'm so tired. That Virginia Tech team from last year was exponentially better than this one. This one is riding off that team's coattails and saying, like, hey, we did a thing last year. So,
What if Padula and Couture get hot? And Mutz figures out how to be a big man.
So quick question. What stopped them from doing that these, 30 or so games so far?
Things happen.
Last year, they were up and down. They were inconsistent, but it was not a consistently like they've been consistently bad this year. I think that's fair to say. So, you can try to change, but that's just the top layer.
Okay, Hove. All right, let's talk about the fact that there are more games to go over here on this Saturday matchups. Wake Forest wasn't able to beat Syracuse. You talk about a team that needs some urgency. The only way that Wake Forest is going to find themselves in the NCAA tournament is by having a win, winning the automatic bid here. And there's definitely a team that can do it with Appleby and Carr and the boys. But Syracuse, Jesse Edwards, have yourself a day. Mr. Man was doing all things to deliver an excellent performance and honestly put himself in conversations for at least entertaining NBA this next season.
I'll tell you what, Edwards, come on back. You had a really good season, but come on back.
I would only come back if there was a coaching change. I ain't gonna hold you. I would flirt with it.
That's fair. And I'll tell you this much. Edwards, I know he's from Germany originally, correct? I would assume that he knows German and all that. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Brother, you don't need to go to them Euro leagues just yet. Come on back. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to tell you this. NBA teams, how many centers out of Syracuse do you remember being drafted? Like, very seriously, how many centers can you name from Syracuse that you're like, oh, yeah, that guy went pretty high?
The Christmas guy?
What is asked of Syracuse bigs in terms of that defense, in terms of that zone defense, is not something that transfers to the NBA well. And because it doesn't transfer to the NBA, well, again, like you said, if you got to say, hey, one of us is going, me or Bayhan. If you got to do that, by all means, transfer somewhere else. But I don't think that, him going to the league is the best thing right now, because you're going to end up in the Thunder Down Under playing for the Australian Boomers. Don't do it.
Help us, Father. Looking for a delicious treat, but don't want all the fat and calories, then you got to try Built Bar. We just got through what should be a really good Valentine's and now March, preparing for St. Patty's Day and all the things, and you want to get ready for what could be a weekend full of indulging. You got to try Built. It's built healthy. It's actually tasty. Seriously, they're so delicious you won't even think they're good for you. Perfect for your new time to get that weight nice and right. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they are covered in 100% real chocolate, and they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. Go to Walmart or Sam's Club right now to get your boxes full. You can go to Walmart and get a 4-box, or you can go to Sam's Club and get a 13-box with hit flavors. You can certainly thank me later. Rocking and rolling with Kenton Gibbs of Locked On ACC. Now he co-hosts with me each and every day. We are 59 subscribers away from 1K, Kenton. I just feel like we should have a party for our YouTube once we get to that point.
Absolutely. We're going to do the same thing companies do. We're throwing a pizza party. And it will be Little Caesars, okay? So garlic butter parm on the crust. It'll be extra marinara, because that pizza can be a little dry sometimes. So we're going to look out for you. We're nothing but the finest for our subscribers.
I feel like you're very familiar with that, the way you described those ingredients. Let's talk about Pitt and Miami, which was arguably the best and most important game of the Saturday matchups. Pitt went into Miami. They had a time. It was very close. A 76-78. One shot could have done it. Still, oh my goodness. You just have a heart attack when you just see it. You hate it for guys who can't pull off shots, clutch shots in the end. But at the same time, you're happy for Miami. Again, Isaiah Wong, who's obviously helped himself as he prepares for the next level, and Coach Larinaga, who should get Coach of the Year. I'm going to throw that out there. I think that it's just really exciting for the Hurricanes program to bounce back from what people called a fluke season, and honestly do it again, and not better, if not better.
This game between Miami and Pitt that's what ACC basketball is supposed to look like. Two really good teams playing really good basketball. You know what I mean? Like, this was not either team. There was not moments in this game where you were looking up like, neither team wants to win this game. Very unserious behavior, which we have seen at times this year. So this was a really good game. You hate that this was one of those games that you hate that somebody had to lose it. But man, Miami, way to do it. Way to come out and get your piece of the ACC championship. Now, there's no more sharing. Sharing is not caring in the ACC tournament. It's all over and done with. There will only, in the words of what's that movie, the Challenger or something like that, there can only be one. There can only be one.
Sure. I think especially for ACC tournament, they're going to have the hot starts that you have needed from them throughout this season, and they can't really play around with their food and kind of undercut themselves, because I think that they are a really good program that needs to put themselves in the best possible position for a strong tournament run.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% agree. I could not agree with you more. This is, again, it's very simple what needs to happen here. I don't think that anybody is confused in terms of, if Miami wants a better seeding than what they're looking at now, you got to win the tournament. I think that they're the team with, quote unquote, the least stress. Maybe them or UVA would probably be the teams with the least stress coming in. Like, getting better seeding is important. But all the rest of these teams, y'all fighting for y'all life. Everybody. Every single one of you are
great. Great. So glad you mentioned that. Speaking of fighting for your life.
Be ever in your favor.
Speaking of fighting for your life, North Carolina, a 57-62 loss. Duke sweeping the Heels this season. A lot of people are saying, because, Duke potentially kicked them out of the tournament, which is not, actually statistically factual. He fact checked. North Carolina still has the opportunity to be in the NCAA tournaments, but people are saying the sweep is almost as good as last year's sweep, which silly rabbit. Silly rabbit. Ending a Hall of Famer's career on a note like that in the Final Four, nothing better.
Listen, Duke fans, I need y'all to understand something. Okay? Roy left. You can't get the get back you looking for. You understand? You can't get the get back.
Find new joys. Find new joys because it's not happening.
Go win a natty.
Yeah.
Let that be your get back.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not really get back. It's just we won a national championship.
Right.
There is no get back for having the most decorated coach. What was it? Did they go 0-3 against North Carolina that year, or was it 0-3? There's no get back.
No, they went 1-2.
They went 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
There's no get back for that.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over. In the words of Vince Carter, it's over. Let it go.
They didn't win. I feel like they won in Chapel Hill, handedly.
Either way you cut it.
I'm having a brainstorm. Either way it goes, on Coach K's biggest night, where everybody and their mama who ever played for him.
The senior night, which had everybody there, you lost. The Final Four, you lost.
Which is a crapshoot of how did that even happen? You can't write that better. And to not get the, dub was certainly hurtful for Coach K. But I think they made the moment too much about coaching, not the players, and then kind of produced itself to be true. Either way, as we stand now, Shire definitely is getting his personal look backs, having the team sweep. I think Jeremy Roach is onto something about North Carolina's lack of communication, but I think it's just the fragility and almost the moment being too big for these players is kind of coming to pass. Now, not saying because they've been in big moments, they understand the assignment. It's starting to not correlate for me, right? Because I feel like guys who are veterans should be able to maintain a certain level of winning mentality, playing ability. The regression is crazy to me. The inability, the fact that we're even having conversations of have to win tournament for your national championship runner-up is insanity to me.
Well, no, wait a minute. Hubert Davis said that they're in a good spot.
And I don't know if it's hubris. I don't know if it's straight up denial. I don't know if you're trying to be cute, funny, what all the things. Maybe he's trying to not sell it for his players and have them have a little bit of hope. But one thing I do know, if y'all take this NIT bid, I promise you, I'm going to protest. I'm going to say, please, cut it out. Just end the season. Nobody want to watch that. Nobody want to watch y'all play Daytona in Poughkeepsie, Mississippi. Like, nobody want to see that.
First of all, absolutely beautiful article title there. Hubert's hubris, right?
Okay,
Hubert.
you like that. You like that. You like that. You like that.
Now, I don't think he gets it. The name can get you in if you're like kind of close, or if you have like really big name players. You don't have either one of those working for you this year. If you were to get in, somebody else has to not get in. And I'm sorry to tell you, how many quad one wins do they have? I want to say 1 or 0. Okay. Yeah.
Don't play us. We got one. I know you're trying to be cute. You knew that.
Hey, pack it up, babes. Pack it up. Unless you win this ACC tournament, pack it up, Buttercup.
Like, it's not. But here's the thing. You could have put yourself in a better position with that win on Saturday. And honestly, if I got Vince Carter in the building, I'm going off for 30. Perk 30. Like, there's no way Vince Carter, I'm just kidding. There's no way that Vince Carter is in the building and I'm not going ham.
I'll tell you what, they say that those pills don't help with your decision making, and Caleb Love needs to stay away from those. He needs to.
I honestly don't even know what that is. It's in a rap song. This is why you don't do drugs, kids.
With that being said, it don't matter who is in the this team is who they are. I mean, they are who they are. And I'll tell you this, because people have been telling me, it's more than just the chemistry. It could be more than the chemistry. And I will give you fans that. So let's talk about the thing, because again, we have all agreed that if UNC starting 5 play 5 one-on-one games against everybody else's starting 5, that tournament, they come out winners of most of those games, a vast majority. So what's happening? What's going on? There's only but 2 to 3 reasons that this could be happening. Obviously, the chemistry, which I've already talked about. But the second is a fundamental lack of scheming and being outcoached to a level that is virtually unheard of. Okay? We're not talking about the NBA where the difference between like a middle of the road team, because now before teams start tanking like crazy, the difference between the best and worst team was like not that big. But now it's kind of a wide chasm. That's another story for another time. We're not talking about the NBA here. We're talking about college basketball where the best teams to the worst teams, you should be whooping the wheels off of everybody. They have the talent. They do. But if the chemistry is not the problem, then what you're saying is this is a coaching job that is on a whole nother level of bad. That's what you're telling me. And many people, when I said if it's not the chemistry or the coaching, they did say, I never wanted Hubert to begin with, and I don't want him now. So, I mean,
now, was it your friends down there in Apex or Johnson County that said that? Because I could have we could have a different conversation about that one. But wow. either way it goes, I just want to see that they are playing with a sense of urgency. Final game we want to talk about here, Notre Dame and Clemson. Clemson winning big on their senior night, marking an end for Notre Dame's regular season play for Coach Bray. I think that Clemson is certainly a team to keep your eye on in this tournament, as they are the 4th seed in this bad boy, and they are coming to play and play handedly, and I definitely don't want to count them out. Between them, Wake Forest, Pitt, Miami, North Carolina, Virginia, it's going to be a great tournament. And NC State. I don't know how I forgot about NC State.
I'll tell you what, Clemson's getting hot as fish grease. They are, there was that time where everybody was looking at them being like, oh, they're unserious. See, the bottom fell out. See, they're bad now. And then all of a sudden they say, okay, all right, it's been a long while. We shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to and start whooping the wheels off of everybody. They smacking every team that they see upside the head. And that's a team that going into this tournament, get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to play them. If we could find a way to have to avoid them, let's work that out, because that team is looking like a buzzsaw at the moment.
So you made your predictions about the women's tournament. Who do you have in the finals for the men's tournament and ultimately winning?
Who-wee. I have not looked at the.
Honestly, that's great. I want to pause you right there. I'm going to keep people in suspense. We'll reveal our truth on Monday's show. I'm not going to have you open that.
I didn't want to guess there. Have not looked at the brackets.
No, I just want to get a little meat on the bone for make sure you guys come back tomorrow as we reveal that truth. But we did have an ACC champion. Virginia Tech was able to defeat Louisville 75-67 at the hands of Kitley, Sule, Amora, and company for the first time in program history. NC State was not there, and the Hokies were able to get that dub in. Talk about winning the MVP, doing it on your home floor. Elizabeth Kitley, have a season, my girl.
Like I said, she is Steppenwolf, and she saw that there was no lantern, no Kryptonian, and she made that world fall. At the end of the day, Georgia Amore was the leading scorer in this game, but Kitley has been the heart and soul all along. Yeah. She has been the player that when you are opening up that Virginia Tech scouting report, she is option 1A, 1B. You need to take care of her. As she goes, the team goes. But shout out to Kitley and company. First in Virginia Tech history. First one.
Yeah.
First ACC. So,
Right. I think it's really exciting for them and the program and where they're headed. I think their coach does an excellent job with them. I will say the NCAA tournament for the women's side, man, you want to talk about it's going to be South Carolina and everybody else, but our girls are going to give the best fight they got. But damn it, if South Carolina is on tunnel vision, play with them if you want to type time.
I got a bone to pick with South Carolina. Well, actually, not South Carolina, just the brand that is sponsoring them. But that's another story for another time with me and Under Armour. We'll get there on a later date. But with that being said, Yeah, you're absolutely right. There, in men's basketball, we don't have that this year, right? Like, we don't have that team that's like, whoo-wee, like there is no way you're beating them. There is not a chance under God's green earth. On that women's side, if you see Cardoza, if you see Henderson, if you see all of them come through that door, you see Dawn Staley come through that door, and who's the player of the year candidate from there? Miss Boston. You see her walk through that door. Yeah, it's been
Zaya Cook, Bria Beal, like name the whole roster.
Hey,
it's disgusting.
It's been real. It's been fun, but it ain't been real fun. We're gonna go ahead and head out. But seriously, upsetting them will be one of the greatest upsets in NCAA history for if any team can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if all of our teams going in dang near Virginia Tech, Duke, UNC, what's up, my other girls, Louisville, Notre Dame, they're gonna have strong showings. But boy, it's gonna be challenging for anyone to beat.
There are multiple teams that were resting players for the or not resting, but had players banged up that they held out intentionally for the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I hear you, but they gonna need more than a prayer to beat those girls down in Columbia, South Carolina.
Well, I'm just letting you know. I'm just saying that there are teams that have their eye on the tournament going forward. And I'll tell you this:
Elizabeth Kitley versus Leah Boston. Come on, dog.
Now, here's the thing. I think that Kitley could get the better of that matchup at times. Here's the problem. She's not the only one. Let's say that you get Boston in foul trouble. Then here comes the former ACC Freshman of the Year, Cardoza. Hey, friend. I just learned to speak English, but I've been learned how to play this post defense, baby. Been doing this a lot longer than I've been speaking English.
Yeah.
She is a problem under there. And then, of course, like you talked about, those long guards in Cook and Beal and company. There are, it's, hey, I'm going to tell you this, though. Again, this show is called Locked On ACC, so let's talk about the ACC for a second. Okay. If there was a tournament, if there was a battle of the conferences where every conference had to have their teams, your team, you go one-on-one, you go head up in the face-off and see who gets the job done. Even with LSU being as good as they've been, even with South Carolina being as good as they've been, I have no doubt in my mind the ACC would work the SEC. It wouldn't be a good time for the SEC. They'd have a very hard time.
You want some E-Bombay type of vibes. Okay, period.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And we're done here. All right, guys, make sure you come back on Monday. Kenton will have time to look at the brackets for the men as we prep for the Tuesday matchups of which teams. Those are more of our, let's see how they roll. They could potentially give us all gas, no breaks as we get ready for what should be an exciting one for the men. Check it all out here on our YouTube page or wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as you want to get ready for NCAA tournament and need to figure out where the rest of the conferences lie. Strongly suggest you listen to and follow Locked On College Basketball. For Candace Cooper and Kenton Gaines, we hope you have a great Monday. Until next.